Welcome back to Watch the Bookerman and to episode number 115 of Paul Heyman's TNA. This is the go-home week to the Turning Point pay-per-view, as well as being Thanksgiving night. TNA always made a big deal of the fact that their show was going out on Thanksgiving, so there's a few things throughout the night that do reference that, beginning first with a Battle Royal. There'll also be one for the Knockouts later on in the night, and the winner of those two Battle Royals will receive a future title shot. Any belt of their choosing, they will get an opportunity to win that championship should they win this Battle Royal. And we see here D'Angelo Dinero gets the most eliminations. He takes a big scalp early on, eliminating Matt Morgan. He can then take out Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, but as sole losers, they end up returning to the ring and throwing him out. So despite already being eliminated, they are able to eliminate D'Angelo Dinero. Coming down to the final four, Robert Roode and Charlie Haas are fighting on one side of the ring, Roderick Strong and Shelton Benjamin on the other. Roderick Strong is eliminated by Benjamin, who can then go over and eliminate both men at the same time as they jostle for position. So Shelton Benjamin eliminating his partner, but potentially securing a huge opportunity for the both of them with his victory. That's of course his choice. We get the crowd hotter straight away and get the show off to a strong start, so really happy with that. We also advance the Pope storyline. Charlie Haas doesn't have any hard feelings as he returns to the ring and raises the arm of his partner. He seems sure that it is going to be a World Tag Team Championship match in their future, but the commentators do reiterate that this is entirely down to the choice of Shelton Benjamin, so the opportunity at the World Heavyweight Championship will be tempting, and we'll see what he decides to do with this shot that he has earned. We then get a excellent segment, and 97 is really good. Desmond Wolfe making his way down to the ring, and he puts over that in tonight's main event he will face Samoa Joe, a man he has shared a ring with many times in many different companies, from the Independents to Ring of Honor to right here in TNA. Those matches have always been some of his toughest battles. Wolfe became the Ring of Honor Pure Champion when he defeated Samoa Joe 6 years ago. On Sunday, his attention is on the Ring of Honor World Championship and his opponent CM Punk, who he calls out. CM Punk instead appears on the screen, saying that he doesn't respond to these call-outs, especially not to somebody like Desmond Wolfe. He doesn't recognise this guy from Ring of Honor anymore. What the hell has become of him? He had the chance to join their mission, but instead he wanted to be a company man for TNA. They say that Wolfe is one of the greatest in Ring of Honor history. Punk doesn't see anything that makes him believe that that man still exists. In fact, the look, the attitude, he doesn't recognise Desmond Wolfe at all. Punk will come face to face with Desmond Wolfe tonight, but it'll be after the main event when he is out cold on the canvas. He will tell everybody here what they could be thankful of. He gives away a hint, more than a hint to be fair, because what they've got to be thankful for is him. So we will see CM Punk later tonight, but we have massively gained heat to the Road to Final Battle storyline. Both men improvising really well. Can't ask for more than that as we go into the back, where the beautiful people welcome viewers to their Thanksgiving party, which is full of various members of the TNA locker room. The first person they speak to is Eric Young, and he's asked what he is thankful for. With a smile on his face, EY says that despite the difficult year that he's had, he accepts that he's in a position that many people can only dream of. Young is thankful to be here in TNA. He is thankful to be here in the United States, and he is thankful to be part of this celebration. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky then move on from EY, and they're promoting plenty more fun coming throughout the night. Brooke walks in to ask Love and Sky about something she's seen at the bottom of the guest list, but Love says that they're not here to do admin. She takes the clipboard from Brooke and tosses it aside. They're here to party. Brooke looks concerned, but Love and Sky, whatever it is, are not bothered. We then go into the second match of the night, which is a preview of the three-way X Division Championship match at Turning Point. Paul London, the partner of Kevin Steen, defeats Colt Cabana, the partner of El Generico, and Jimmy Jacobs, the manager of Tyler Black, in 10 minutes and 28 when Paul London pins Jimmy Jacobs with a shooting star press. These three men have all got themselves involved in this storyline, so we thought we'd put them in a match, and this is a solid match, but I do think that the three-way at the pay-per-view is going to be even better. Colt Cabana actually the weak link here, while Paul London, the winner, is head and shoulders above the rest. Another good performance from him, and like I've said before, I really do like the dynamic that's developing between him and Kevin Steen, who comes out to the top of the ramp, the X Division champion, applauding his partner for his victory here. Steen being focused on the ring means that he fails to spot El Generico coming out behind him, El Generico tackles Kevin Steen to the ground and begins laying into him. They're rolling around on the stage, absolutely laying into each other. Generico after revenge for the recent attacks from Steen. The two men continue to brawl until Steen manages finally to get back to his feet. Paul London, who has seen this and left the ring, grabs El Generico, shoving him to the ground, and leaves with Kevin Steen. At Turning Point, as we've said, Steen will defend the X Division Championship against El Generico and Tyler Black. The El Generico, since losing the title at Bound for Glory, he's snapped. We're seeing a different side of him. We saw a different side of him in the build-up to Bound for Glory, to be fair, but it's just further showing how much he hates Kevin Steen, this fun-loving, happy-go-lucky character. That's not what we're seeing when it comes to his pursuit of getting back the X Division title, which he held for just 24 hours 4 weeks ago. We then head back to the Beautiful People's Thanksgiving party, and Love and Sky speak with two very upbeat characters, Sonjay Dutt and the patriotic red, white and blue clad Consequences Creed. Creed and Dutt are just being generally positive, but before they get the chance to say too much, Team Canada crash the party. Scott D'Amore runs down the United States, looks to be the Thanksgiving party pooper, and he says that the only thing TNA should be thankful for is the Canadians in this locker room. If it was just Americans, this company would suck. Generic heel anti-American stuff from Scott D'Amore. Love seems convinced by this, but Sky shakes her out of this. She's not happy with any negativity at their party. They want this to be a success, and Scott D'Amore is basically trying to ruin it. D'Amore is ordered to leave by Sky, and when she gets in his face, he does that. He was going to go anyway. He doesn't want to be part of this dumb party. He just came to deliver a message to Dutt and Creed. They should enjoy themselves, because later tonight, Spears and Dukes are going to put them down for good. Team Canada versus Creed and Dutt later on tonight, so just a little segment to set that up. As we go into the third match of the night, great chemistry between the two women, and it's a decent match. Mischief actually putting in a better performance than Gail Kim, so more work than we thought to do with Gail, but the way we're booking her, I do think she's going to get much better ratings very, very soon. She defeats Mischief in 10 minutes and 23 with a neat defeat, just continuing the success story that is her return to TNA. As soon as Gail's arm is raised, Daisy Hayes looks to jump her from behind, catching the recently returned knockout off guard. Daisy Hayes is able to take him down, running out from the back. Sarah Del Rey quickly makes the save for Gail Kim, grabbing Daisy Hayes and tossing her out of the ring. Hayes regroups on the outside with Mischief, who is now coming round, and SDR sends a clear message to them. Turning Point is going to be Gail Kim versus Sarah Del Rey, and nobody else is to get involved or else. So a big warning from Sarah Del Rey, and we're seeing more and more that she wants to play it straight at the minute. She doesn't need any outside interference. She's barely acted like a heel for a couple of months now, and she wants to prove herself against Gail Kim in a fair one-on-one match. We return to the second hour for another knockouts match, and it's a 10-woman battle royal. Alyssa Flash earning a future title opportunity in 10 minutes and 19. A decent match, and the other members of the final four being Madison Rayne, who was the runner-up, Hamada and Sarita, who of course have a little bit of a personal issue, and despite Hamada getting the most eliminations during the course of the match, she is eliminated by Sarita. Eventually it comes down to Rayne and Flash, and Madison Rayne, after eliminating Sarita, is taken out by Alyssa Flash, and she is not happy at all by that. Mickie James and Tara both on commentary during this one, and they are squabbling back and forth. I didn't feel there's that much we could do with the storyline after what happened at Bound for Glory. There was so much in that storyline that the fact that we're running a rematch meant that there wasn't too much more I felt I could do, so we're just having them go back and forth, putting over their personal issues, and it has actually given me sort of reason to think that when we do change the company from TNA to Impact Wrestling, the automatic rematch clause, I know quite a few companies in modern day don't do that anymore, and it's with good reason, because sometimes when you build to these specific matches that are supposed to be the final match, and then you've got to justify the fact that somebody's got a rematch clause in their contract, it kind of leads to what I will admit is a bit of an underwhelming rematch at the pay-per-view afterwards. Not that it's a major issue, but Mickie James and Tara are the focus of Alyssa Flash after the match. She turns her attention to them, staring down both champion and challenger. She's waiting for whichever one of them leaves the pay-per-view with the championship. On the outside, Madison Rayne complains loudly about what just went down, not happy with her elimination. When is she ever happy? more complaints from her, and Alyssa Flash, of course, standing tall. She's made it very clear instantly that it will be the Knockouts Championship and not the Knockouts Tag Team Championships she'll be going for. The person who that is less clear for is Shelton Benjamin, and he is interviewed by Jeremy Borash, asked about his future title shot. Benjamin says that he and Haas have had their eyes on the World Tag Team Championships for some time, since they arrived in the company basically, but he admits that the chance to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship doesn't come around so often. He'll certainly be thinking this over, and he's not ready to give an answer at the moment. Charlie Haas speaks up and says that he gets that, but if he were the American Wolves or LAX, he'd be preparing himself for a challenge from wrestling's greatest tag team. So a little bit presumptuous from Charlie Haas there, while Shelton Benjamin is somewhat evasive. We then head into that match we mentioned earlier, and it's a short one. We wanted to just give a feel-good victory for Creed and Dutt, so it's pretty much a dominant, decisive win. 4 minutes and 44, Creed pinning Sean Spears with a hammerlock DDT, and we see Sonjay Dutt head and shoulders above everybody else. Probably fair that we've not done as much with him that we could have. A 68 is really good, so something to keep in mind for potentially giving him some better X Division opportunities in the future. For example, after the match, as Creed and Dutt are celebrating, we see that Scott D'Amore isn't finished in his attempts to ruin everybody's Thanksgiving. Regrouping Team Canada on the outside, D'Amore pulls 3 hockey sticks out from under the ring, 1 for each of them. D'Amore, Spears and Dukes then return to the 6 sides, and while Creed and Dutt are ready to defend themselves, they're outnumbered, their rivals have weapons in hand, it's not looking good for them until Eric Young runs down to save his friends. He grabs a hockey stick from the hands of Scott D'Amore, telling all of Team Canada to back off. They do that, they take a step back, but Eric Young then turns and hits Sonjay Dutt with the hockey stick to the shock of Creed. He can't react, however, as Dukes and Spears then join in the attack. Dutt and Creed laid into brutally with those hockey sticks. Once those two men can no longer fight back, Scott D'Amore hands a microphone to Eric Young, who tells Creed and Dutt, "Like I said, you'd be the first to know." So a follow-up from a segment a couple of weeks ago when there were rumours that EY might be joining Team Canada. He denied them and told his friends that they'd know before anybody else. Well, we see they were the first to know as Eric Young turned back heel. This wasn't what I had in mind when I started the identity crisis angle for Eric Young, but simply put, it wasn't working. I've booked him terribly for, 23 months now? So a heel turn, back with Team Canada, back to his roots. Hopefully we can get some momentum for him. I thought that when we turned him back face and I ended the World Elite, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can build something for him in the future, but a nice little story throughout the night for him, and a ready-made rivalry as he joins Scott D'Amore's group. Returning to the back, Austin Aries is shown entering the office of Paul Heyman. Not that good of a segment as Heyman struggles when going off script. Always weird to see that note. Aries asks Heyman what he wants, and he's just basically showing with his words he has no respect for the man in charge. Heyman tells Aries that his group isn't as tight-knit as he thinks because he's heard whispers that Aries has something planned for the main event, with Desmond Wolfe next in his crosshairs. Paul tells Aries that he is barred from ringside tonight, and for that matter, he is barred from ringside at Turning Point when Wolfe challenges CM Punk. Austin Aries tells Paul Heyman that he doesn't care if he's barred or not, he's going to do exactly what he wants. Paul says that might be the case, which is why he's got extra security on and they're outside waiting for him as soon as he leaves this office. So a bit of a setup. He calls him into the office, the security then are waiting for him should he try and leave. Heyman adds that he's not doing that for Wolfe's good, but for Austin's. The other reason that he called Aries into the office is because Jeff Hardy is returning at Turning Point and he wants to go one-on-one with Austin Aries. Paul Heyman has made that match and Aries leading the charge, losing heat to this storyline, but Aries has said he's going to take out every member of that Team Angle team from Bound for Glory, so he'll have to face Jeff Hardy at Turning Point. He thought that he'd taken him out with that brainbuster to the stage, but Jeff Hardy, as we know, a very, very resilient guy, and he's going to be there at Turning Point. Aries' chance to put him down once and for all. We then get a good segment actually. I saw them two red notes and thought one of them might have struggled off script or something, but actually both of them improvised really well. Green notes, very happy with that. It's just the commentary note that we get quite regularly. And ahead of their World Heavyweight Championship match, AJ Styles and his challenger Bryan Danielson have sat down with Mike Tenay. Both men putting over how important this match is for them on Sunday. Danielson saying that he has worked harder and worked more matches than anybody since he arrived in the company. AJ Styles has talked about loving TNA, about how much he loves to be inside that 6 sides. But Bryan is the one who has been in that ring and putting this show on his shoulders. He wasn't pinned at Bound for Glory when he lost this title, and he hasn't lost a singles match since he arrived. That won't change on Sunday. He's very confident. For AJ Styles, this is about more than just a title. This is about passion and desire. That's going to be the difference in his mind. Danielson might be a match for him in the ring anywhere else or in any other scenario, but for right now, with what this match means to him, he's got no chance. AJ Styles needs to be the last TNA World Heavyweight Champion so he can become the first Impact World Champion. TNA going into a new era, and AJ Styles just as determined to be a flag bearer for the new company, as it were, as he has been for TNA. And it's again the dynamic for this storyline, this first singles match between these two, is that AJ Styles has the heart, while Bryan Danielson may be objectively the better wrestler. AJ says that there is no chance that he's going to let this situation go out of his control. If he loses, he then can't be the one to potentially stop CM Punk from becoming the Impact World Champion, taking the TNA title and throwing it in the trash like he's threatened to do. So much pressure on AJ Styles, but could that actually work to the detriment of him against the cool, cold and calculated Bryan Danielson? Of course, we'll see at Turning Point. We then return to the end of the Beautiful People's Thanksgiving party. The roster are filing out. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky reacting to the actions of Eric Young earlier. They didn't see that coming. Angelina says that Canada is great, but perhaps tonight wasn't the time for what Eric Young did. Velvet Sky says that she doesn't really care. She's just thankful that nothing chaotic happened and ruined their party. They're glad that it happened in the ring. Angelina Love is also thankful for that, as well as being thankful that they're not Adja Kong or Awesome Kong, who they're going to beat at Turning Point. Returning to the party, Brooke tries to get the attention of the two women, but they are just going on with themselves. Brooke insists they have to listen, saying that 2 guests have arrived a little bit late. Coming in to the room, the Knockouts Tag Team Champions Double Kong arrive. Love and Sky quickly running away, with Awesome Kong and Adja Kong causing destruction in the room, flipping over tables, throwing chairs, absolutely causing chaos. Brooke angrily confronts the two women. She put so much effort into organising this party. She's the one who made all this possible, and she says that they're going to pay for this on Sunday because Love and Sky tasked her with coming up with a plan, and she is a master strategist. Kong and Kong stand over Brooke, and quickly she realises the mistake she is making speaking to the two women like that. She also runs off, with Adja Kong and Awesome Kong left in the room. That's the end of the Thanksgiving festivities as we go into a very good main event. Unfortunately, Wolfe off his game, and he's supposed to be in a Ring of Honor World Championship match, and he's pulling out a 71. That's a little bit disappointing, to be fair. Nonetheless, he does defeat Samoa Joe in 14 minutes and 48 with a jawbreaker lariat, actually not the Tower of London. And 87 is a good match, like I said, but not that good, to be fair, from Desmond Wolfe. We get the crowd buzzing as he stands tall. Would have liked a little bit better for this as well as the go home segment as well, to be fair, but it's getting to something when I'm complaining about 86 rated segments and 87 rated main events. Desmond Wolfe having his arm raised in the ring, ready for Turning Point, where he will challenge for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Coming out from the back, CM Punk lives up to his word from earlier, albeit his prediction not coming true. He thought Desmond Wolfe would be down and out, whereas he is ready to go face to face with the champion. They do that as CM Punk enters the ring. Punk then kicks Wolfe between his legs. The exhaustion from the match meaning he wasn't probably as vigilant as he should have been around CM Punk. Wolfe falls to his knees, then drops to the canvas as CM Punk takes a microphone from ringside. He crosses his legs and sits beside the stricken Wolfe. CM Punk says that tonight is supposed to be a night of Thanksgiving, but Punk has nothing to be thankful for as long as he is inside this disgusting ring. In fact, he's furious that throughout this entire 2-hour show, nobody has taken the time to thank him yet. Nobody has thanked him for making this company relevant, for making it the most talks about thing in the business, or for dragging this company out of the gutter and setting in motion the changes, the raising of standards that have been needed for so long. He deserves thanks for saving Ring of Honor and the Ring of Honor title, and for creating the biggest match in the history of this company. In 3 weeks, he is going to take the Ring of Honor Championship into Final Resolution, the final battle, and there is nothing Desmond Wolfe can do about that. Above all else, what's going to happen after Final Resolution is what people should truly be thankful for, because in 1 month's time, total non-stop action, TNA Wrestling will be no more. So a defiant promo from CM Punk to end this show, who does well when going off script, but like I said, we would have hoped for something in the 90s. That's what we'd come to expect. I still think it's going to be an absolutely brilliant episode of Impact, and 86, no room for complaints there, it has to be said, as well as a bit of undercard stuff also, which I suppose on a pay-per-view go-home show you don't necessarily want, but it's also the Thanksgiving special, and I think the matches that we do have on that card are already well enough established that it doesn't take too much away from the pay-per-view build. We do have a little bit more build to go, of course, as we'll go now into Evolve. And the show begins with the number one contenders to the World Tag Team Championships, Hernandez and Homicide, teaming with their LAX stablemate Amazing Red to defeat the New Age of Honors, Rhett Titus, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Homicide pinning Kyle O'Reilly with a Gringo Killer, an okay match followed by LAX standing tall. They will face American Wolves at Turning Point. We then get an interview with a angry Jay Lethal. He's not happy about the fact that he's in action tonight. For weeks, his big moment that he wants to share with Maria has been delayed and delayed and delayed. Thankfully, he's going to go and beat Chris Sabin, and then afterwards, he has something that he has to say to Maria, something that he's been waiting to say for a very, very long time. Maria has a smile on her face. We all think we know what's coming, and we'll see what happens after tonight's main event. Austin Aries then cuts a promo on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is supposed to be off screen for this because it's a warning against Jeff Hardy returning. He says that it only ends one way if he comes back. Him getting brain busted and sent back onto the injured list, so basically telling him not to come to the pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy, of course, isn't going to take that advice, and it's an okay segment advancing the storyline from Austin Aries. We then get a pretty poor promo from the Wolves, both doing poorly without a script. It's an interview, they're basically saying they're ready for LAX. SoCal Val asked them about Kenny King's defiance last week, and they say that they're going to be speaking to Steve Corino after the pay-per-view. Maybe one of them is going to have to get him in the ring and teach him a lesson, but for now they're just focused on Homicide and Hernandez. We then get Alyssa Flash defeating Brooke in 6 minutes and 6 by submission with an inverted cloverleaf, and it's just further establishing she's got that future title shot. She won the Battle Royal earlier, now she's beat Brooke, so a good night for her overall, and a good performance from Flash, to be fair, a decisive victory for her. She cuts a promo, she wants to talk about the fact that she's looking to face whoever wins on Sunday. She'll be next in line, of course. Madison Rayne comes out cutting her off and challenges her for a match on Impact. She's not happy with how the Battle Royal ended. She thinks that she is better than Alyssa Flash, and Flash is more than happy to try and prove her wrong on Impact, so that match is agreed for next week. Paul Heyman then promotes the upcoming pay-per-view and doesn't do that good of a job. I think this was a 4-minute segment rated on his entertainment, and it only gets a 75. Thankfully, it still gains heat to a couple of the storylines that are associated with it. He also says that he has a huge announcement coming next week. The first mention of that will also promote that on the pay-per-view, because it's a really, really significant announcement for the future of this company, and kind of for the save, it has to be said. But a decent promo from Paul Heyman, albeit not as good as we know that he can do. It does get the crowd hotter going into our main event, which is another disappointing match. I feel like Lethal and Sabin can do better than that. Nonetheless, with a lethal injection, Jay Lethal wins the match after Maria Kanellis does interfere, to be fair. Chris Sabin laid out in the ring. Jay Lethal then gets the chance to say what he's been waiting weeks and weeks, probably even months, to say. He gets on one knee and proposes to Maria. It's not like this is a big shock. They were previously engaged. Maria called off the engagement. Then Jay Lethal changed his attitude, which got Maria back on board. He explains that he's sick of waiting and they've waited so long. It's been months and months since he first proposed to her. He wants to do it next week on Impact inside the 6 sides. Maria, who has accepted the proposal, does say that she isn't getting married in a wrestling ring. She has a smile on her face, but does then leave the ring and head up the ramp. So even in this magical moment for Jay Lethal, still a little bit of something that's going to chip away at him. She will marry him, but she's not going to do it in a wrestling ring. Obviously just kind of taking the mick of that common thing that we see of pro wrestling weddings and how they very, very rarely go to plan. It's not that great of a segment, but Turning Point is of course now the focus. A really good week, and we continue to basically have those level of impacts that now means that an 86 isn't remarkable, it's just pretty standard for us. I'm very happy of course to see that, and who knows, as we continue to build, maybe getting shows in the 90s is going to become a common thing. We've had 392 pay-per-views throughout the save. Bound for Glory 2010 is in first place, Had Justice 2011 is in second place, and Bound for Glory from last month is in third place. I do think we've got two really good matches on the Turning Point card. AJ and Bryan could get in the mid-90s again. Punk and Wolfe, if Wolfe's not off his game, could also get a really good rating. I may be jumping the gun here because I am trying to promote Turning Point, but I do think that Final Resolution, the final battle, is probably more likely to be our best show ever, given what we've got planned. But Turning Point is the next pay-per-view, the card on screen. Thank you for watching as always. Hopefully this has been an enjoyable episode. Hopefully you're looking forward as much as I am to this pay-per-view. Cheers, and I will see you next time.